Hi guys, my name is Diego from the Hit Music Studio, and in this video, I would like to cover one of the most frequently asked questions that we're going to hear at the music school from parents. And let's jump right into it. The question is, how much should my child practice? And it's interesting because I do believe that we get this question about at least once a month. And for us, it's important that as instructors to talk a little bit about this type of questions because I think while it's a very broad question, at the same time, I think giving everyone a little bit of an idea can truly help. So let's talk a little bit about the basic answer that I try to give people is I think the minimum should be an hour a week divided into 3 segments. And part of the reason is because if you don't practice enough, I think you're not gonna really see your money's worth. You're really not gonna see any progress. And I think for anyone that is starting their music journey, one of the things that motivates you the most is actually seeing progress. So if you take music lessons and you don't practice at all, I don't think that that's a good situation for anyone, including for the child. So definitely, I think if you want your child to do music lessons, our recommendation would be also make sure that they have the time during the week to be able to put in a little bit of like practice time. And I would say an hour a week is the minimum, divided into probably 3 segments of 20 minutes. So that's another important tip. I don't think anyone benefits from a long practice session once a week. I do believe that it's a little bit easier to really move forward if you divide those sessions. Maybe you can even divide it into 4 and do 15-minute increments. So repetition and like very recurring sessions, I think would truly help. So let me also give you 6 tips to also make the practice sessions the best that they can be, so you guys can get truly progress as quick as possible. So we have number 1 is a hard versus easy. I think a lot of people, when they practice, one of the things that we see with students is if they do have limited time, and I believe we live in a world in which a lot of our students do multiple activities. In that limited time, it's really important to go directly to the hard stuff. So don't spend time when you do have 15 minutes or 20 minutes using, let's say, 5 minutes to just play your favorite song and songs that you already know and exercises that you're great at. Try to go directly to the hard stuff. I think that's going to be a big, I don't know, like a really good way of increasing your progress. So number 2, and I think this is an important one, is to use a stopwatch. I think we all have the ability to now use a stopwatch on your phones. Most phones and tablets have stopwatches, and you can probably download apps for it. What a stopwatch to me means is make the student know that he is going to do or she is going to do 15 minutes. And that way they know it's a very specific amount of time, maybe 20 minutes. I think just practicing without an end in sight, it can be tough for someone that is young. So 15 minutes, 20 minutes makes it very like, okay, just, do 20 minutes and then we can move on to doing homework or anything else that they want to do. So I think that, and almost probably keeping a log and knowing, okay, you did 20 minutes on Monday, you should do 20 minutes on Wednesday, that type of thing. So number 3, and I think this is important, try to have everything ready. I know that I have grown into the things that I do, including like trying to film these things and record some of the YouTube videos. The least amount of setup, the better. So I've come to a couple of almost like setups in which almost nothing has to move. And even today, I recorded a couple of videos that I just put an SD camera, an SD memory card on the camera, and everything is ready to shoot because everything is already rigged. I think the same thing happens to practicing. You should have everything ready, even if possible, depending on budget. Try to have maybe a duplicate of, let's say, if you need a tuner. That way you don't even have to take your tuner out of the guitar bag. You already have one where you normally practice. So I think having the setup really ready is important. If things need to be taken out of the closet and you need to go downstairs to get the papers and it takes a while, I think those 3 sessions of 20 minutes are likely not going to happen. So pretty important, have everything ready. Almost, if you can, create a place in your house that's where you normally practice and you can have the things that you need. If you need a music stand, if you need a notebook, all that, you can have it ready. Okay, so number 4, and we actually did a video on our YouTube channel about this, is privacy. That is an important suggestion that we have. I do believe that practicing should not be something done with an audience. I don't, and I know a lot of piano students tend to have the keyboards, the pianos in the living room, in the dining room. And that's cool for a party. That's cool when people come and are visiting. But at the same time, I think it's important to have a little bit of like your own alone time. Anything that can be done with headphones, we recommend practicing with headphones. So if you can practice with a keyboard with headphones, you need a small adapter. But also for guitar amps, you can use an adapter. And I do believe that in the practice session, it's almost important to figure out things on your own. You're going to make mistakes, but you don't want someone trying to correct you as soon as you make a mistake, because I think even the making the mistakes is important. And I can tell you guys a super quick story. When I was about, I don't know, 13, 14, I kept on trying to, when I would show up to my lesson with my piano teacher, have him not correct me on anything. My goal of the week was like, I'm going to learn this song. This is a new song, and I'm not going to make any mistakes. And I would still show up and have all sorts of corrections to do. Those corrections are part of the process. So if a student learns something and missed a note, and the note repeats a good amount of times, and that's somewhat of a, you have to go back home and fix it. I think it's part of the lesson, and it's part of the process for students to be a little bit more careful with certain things. So I know certain family members may be trying to help, but we do believe that privacy, it's an important thing to be able to have when you're doing your routine. So number, I just believe, is 5, repetition. Repetition is pretty important. One thing that I see with the young crowd, students that are elementary, is everyone wants everything done very quickly. We have a world in which you can go to YouTube, you can go to like online and find sometimes things for free, all sorts of tutorials. But the work in music tastes the same. We can give you all the tips, but you have to sit down and you have to build your own musicianship. And that comes with repetition. So I think being okay, and I do this sometimes with people that are young, when I ask them to repeat something, I usually say between 3 and 5 times. Once they say, okay, I'm done, I may say, okay, can you do it another 3? Because if you say someone, can you play that 25 times? They may be like, 25 times is a lot. Yeah, it is a lot, but at the same time, it is part of the process. So super important to repeat things, to be okay with repeating things. It's important for you guys to know that in music, repetition is truly what builds our mechanics. So I particularly almost enjoy the time that I can practice. I would love to practice a lot more regularly than I do, because of timing as well. But when I do practice, I do believe that it's almost like investment into myself. So I'm okay if I'm gonna sit down and do something for half an hour, because I know that not only I'm working on that song, I'm working on myself. I'm working on my ability to, when I encounter anything that is similar to that, I'm gonna be able to do it better. So that is an important one. Be okay with repeating things, and repeat things until they're comfortable. I think that's probably the biggest suggestion. At the same time, if you're making too many mistakes, you're probably going too fast. So last one, number 6, make your routine fun. I tend to use drum beats to practice, and for me, it's particularly important to make my routine fun. I don't particularly like metronomes. I think metronomes are pretty, I don't know, dull. So I like to program beats for the songs that I'm practicing, because that way I can slow it down. It still sounds similar than the song, but it's a little bit more fun. And you can create all sorts of challenges. Some of the best musicians that I have ever met, the stories of how much they push themselves, even without the guidance of a teacher, they're always trying to just create things to push themselves and see how far can they go. So I think it's important to make your routine fun, because if every time that you practice, you're a little bit like, okay, I hate doing this, it's going to be hard to become a better musician. So we hope those 6 tips and that question, how much should you practice, is, I guess, answered by this video. We hope to see you guys soon. Remember, we have this channel and this content to help you guys learn music the fastest and the easiest way possible. And I believe very passionately that there's tons of content, and you guys already know that, but there's not that many channels geared towards people that are young trying to learn music that is current. So that's, I think, where we can come in and truly help you guys. Because if you want to be a classical musician, we're probably not the people to help you on that. But at the same time, I do believe that if you want to learn music that is current, the procedure can be a little bit different, and we can help you. We hope to see you guys soon. My name is Diego again from the Hit Music Studio, And we hope you guys are definitely getting some value from these lessons. See you guys soon.